How's it going there, everyone? It's Mr. Zen over here, bringing you guys another segment for today. And for today's segment, guys, I'm going to be talking about the highly anticipated anime, Servamp. Yes, guys, this anime, I actually was streaming it a couple days ago, and I was watching it, and, after watching, and I finally caught up to it, by the way, it's actually very interesting. I believe it's categorized as a shoujo anime, but when I was watching it, it was far from being a shoujo anime. I mean, sure, the overall cast members of the anime itself is male-oriented, but I mean, it's legitimately an interesting anime. It's not a coming-of-age story, I'll tell you that much. It definitely is not that. That's what makes it interesting, because the fact that it's not something that you actually see every single time because, with vampire animes, it's always about a love story. And in this particular anime, it really isn't about a love story. It's like I said, it's not a traditional vampire story. It's very different. It's very battle-oriented, which I thought to myself, wow, most vampire animes whatever I think of vampire anime, I think of shoujo love interest, or I would think a vampire guy on vampire guy having love interest. Just typical, shoujo stuff. But like, I don't know why this was categorized as shoujo. You don't really see that in this anime, unless it's like in the manga that they're being very detailed about, and I just haven't seen that myself yet. But for now, in the anime, this is strictly the anime discussion. No, they haven't done any of that, and strictly, I personally think it's a very interesting anime. And even the English dub is coming out so fast that it's almost caught up to the Japanese adaptation, because of the fact that I believe the Japanese sub one is, at episode 10, and I believe the dubbed one is at episode 8. So look how close these two are. Like wow, this anime deserves its praise, guys. This anime is definitely worth the watch for a summer anime. The first episode, when I was watching it, I was kind of like, just a little sketchy, but I'm like, okay, don't give up. It's the first episode, Don't give up on it. Sure, they're introducing the enemy. They introduced the enemy really quickly, though, which is surprisingly. Usually they introduce the main villain at least by episode 2, or I would say the grand enemy of the overall anime. They wouldn't introduce it that early in the series, because of the fact that the enemy that the main character Mahito and the vampire Kuro that they're actually fighting is called Tsubaki. It's another vampire, you could kind of say, in this anime, and it's funny because the way that the events transpire from the main character meeting this Kuro vampire, it literally just goes haywire. It just goes everywhere, and that's what makes it interesting, because the fact that like you're wondering, like, okay, what's gonna happen now in this certain scene that's going to transpire an event that's going to happen in the next episode. Like, it's like the storyline is linear, but then once it hit at a point where one event transpired into a billion branches that basically exploded, that's the way, like, the anime, it felt like to me. Like, it's so that interesting, the fact that it's a vampire war. That's what this anime is about. It's literally a vampire war, and it's just literally, like I said, events are just transpiring everywhere. It's hilarious. But so far, the main character, of course, he's a everyday average Joe. He has a very tragic past, of course. His parents died, so then a busy uncle was actually taking care of him. But that's why the main character likes to have, a very simple life, because of the fact he doesn't like to overcomplicate things, because it just causes stress. So, he was very stressed out person once he was young. So as he grew older, that kind of led off to, like, having that personality that, he likes the simple things. And who doesn't like the simple things? And that's his catchphrase too, I just like to keep it simple. And, in all aspects, that's how you really should enjoy life. Just keep it simple, man. Don't overcomplicate things. And I like that about the main character, Mahito, that he has that kind of, I would say, what's called that shonen attitude, like that Naruto attitude. Like, yeah, let's do this. Yeah, but it's still not thrown at your face very blatantly. It's like it's keeping it at a minimum, which is still, like I said, it's very enjoyable, guys. Like, the anime itself, even the battles are pretty interesting as well. It's actually very gory too, if I remember correctly. Like, a lot of the scenes that whenever the vampires are fighting, they don't keep it G-rated. No. It's like It's like rated R kind of stuff. But of course, you know, they gotta keep some stuff censored. I mean, it's like a neck slice and, you know, blood everywhere. Of course, it's so interesting. But like I said though, this anime is basically just like a vampire war going around. But between the main character and the first, I would say the main character vampire that are introduced, these two, the way they meet is also hilarious, because the fact that, you know, Mahiro, the main character, he just finds that this like a cat out of nowhere, picks it up, takes care of it, and then like it just they form like a bond. Which, by the way, these vampires have like a system, and this system is very, very important, because it kind of, like I said, it transpires the events throughout the whole entire anime itself, that, you know, it just becomes, it makes the viewer intrigued with the fact that, you know, what kind of I would say these other vampires have, what kind of powers they have, you know, because the fact that, you know, these vampires, they're called Servamps, based on the name Servamp of the anime, basically means that the vampires become like the servant of the whoever they form a contract with. And based on Mahiro and Kuro, that's what they basically did. They serve the contract. And also these main vampires that are in it, they're also based on the 7 deadly sins, which is very interesting, because the fact that, you know, we're still using that same trope, the 7 deadly sins, over and over again in majority of animes. But this one, it keeps it, I would say, as fairly entertaining, you know, the fact that, you know, you're wondering as to what these vampires are going to do. And it's funny because a lot of the sins, you know, the 7 deadly sins, aren't really necessarily, I would say, used on the vampires a lot. It's not based on their actions or personality. It's just based on what's going around them that basically causes them to be part of this sin. Like Kuro, for example, is the sin of sloth. But there's a reason why he's a sloth. It's not because he's lazy. It's because of the fact that he had a very tragic past that makes him lazy. But he's not lazy. And he's actually very smart too. And it's like I said, like, the anime is so intense and interesting that as you wonder, like, why aren't you watching this anime? I actually thought to myself, why was I watching this earlier? I should have been reviewing this earlier as well, guys. And like I said, it's fairly entertaining. And a lot of the other vampires that are introduced, I would say Lawless, the greed one. I would say Hugh, the sin of pride. I believe I forgot the envy one. I forgot the name of that one. But the envy one was pretty interesting. You know, the way his powers were shown is like Gatling guns. It's pretty interesting, you could say. Like I said, like, a lot of these vampires are very interesting, and each of the characters' tragic past are very interesting stuff. My personal favorite, that when you're watching this, is actually when the Servamp Lawless comes into play. This character is so intense that you're wondering, like, what the kind of maniac vampire. Like, a lot of these vampires, guys, their personalities are very weird. They're very, I wouldn't say awkward, just their quirks are just really abstract whenever they're thrown at you. You're like, wonder, oh, these guys are really that powerful and they have really weird personality. Like, you wonder, like, who is in charge of making this freaking vampire? Or whoever's in control of this vampire has to freaking be insane himself. Which, by the way, kind of does make up for it, because a lot of these vampires, you know, they really are technically almost clinically insane, because it's based on how powerful these guys are. But like I said, though, you know, a lot of this anime is very entertaining. The story itself, guys, is intriguing, and also, you know, you are gonna fall in love with, I would say, the main character and the first servant that they introduce, Kuro, because the fact that the way that these characters are forming their friendship and bonds is very interesting. You know, that the way that they're connecting is the fact that it's that they're both, I would say, actually, Kuro is hiding a lot of secrets for him, because the fact, you know, he doesn't want to hurt the main character. I mean, he doesn't want to introduce, I mean, he already introduced him into a world that he just shouldn't be in which, by the way, Kuro, the Servamp, he's actually a lot smarter than he looks. Like, everything that he does is for a specific reason. It's not because he doesn't want to, or he's lazy, or he just doesn't want to be a part of. No, it's because he actually thinks ahead, and even states in the anime itself, you know, what if this person doesn't want to do this, or what if this person doesn't want to do that? You know, he considers other people's feelings, like almost like a fatherly figure, as you could kind of say, which is pretty interesting. You know, like I said, the way that the author has done this anime is very interesting in itself, guys. And I'm loving to see what other arc this author is going to introduce once this story arc is actually finished. Because right now, the only story arc that's introduced is basically defeats Tsubaki, another one of the sins, or I would say the 8th sin, melancholy. And basically, they are basically at war with this vampire. And, you know, I'm just like, That's pretty interesting, but I wonder what's going to be the arc after that one. That's going to be interesting. I mean, or unless it's going to be a 1 season kind of thing, or a 2 season kind of deal. You know, you viewers are going to be wondering as to what's the villain going to be after the next one. After this, I would say after Tsubaki. Or maybe Tsubaki, the Servamp of Melancholy, will be the only villain that will last, so forth and so forth and so forth. We don't know that yet. But so far, like I said, though, this anime is very interesting. A lot of the vampires here, you know, they're very quirky. You know, but I'm just wondering, why is it a shoujo? I still don't understand that. You know, it's because there's a lack of woman involved. Is that it? Is that why? I mean, there are certain women in the series, but I just don't understand why it's a shoujo. I mean, there's no, I would say, homophobic romances or gestures that are involved. That's why I'm kind of interested. Like, why is this a shoujo? This should straight up be a shonen anime itself. This definitely should. You know, but let me know down in the comment section what you guys think about the anime Servamp, guys. You know, like I said, this anime very interesting, and I'm gonna finish this anime, and I'm gonna start reviewing each episode. I'll be reviewing the episode 11 next week when it comes out. As like I said, I'm very interested as to what's gonna be happening. But like I said, let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought about this anime itself. You know, this summer anime, like I said, it's very interesting. A lot of summer anime were very interesting this year. Definitely a lot. And a lot of you are wondering, wow, what was that? What were the freaking anime I would say producers doing? They hold all the good ones all the way to the summer, and then just like blast them all at once. So it's like you don't know which one to watch, which is hilarious in my own opinion. Like, like it's just so many that it's hard to keep track of that you don't even know which one to start with. But that's it for today's segment, folks. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought about this anime entirely. What do you guys think about the characters themselves? Do you guys think they're entertaining? Because I think each and every character is very entertaining, and they project much emotion throughout the whole entire series as a whole. Do you guys think the villains are definitely okay? Do you guys think this villain will last for, like, I would say, for a little more while or longer than he is actually supposed to be? And what do you guys think about the whole hierarchy of the vampires themselves? I know throughout the anime they were explained that the humans basically created these vampires, but what do you guys think about that? Do you guys think that they're gonna shift the story into a war with the humans after the war with the vampires? Let me know down in the comments below on theories and predictions as to what's gonna happen, guys. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day. Oh, but don't forget, if you guys enjoy my content, don't forget to give a like, comment, share, and subscribe for more anime related content, guys. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day. But this is Mr. Zen signing out.